Bank of England raise base rate from 4.5 to 5. Link to Bank of England announcement. At its meeting ending on the 21st of June 2023, the MPC voted by a majority of 7-2 to increase bank rate by 0.5 percentage points, to 5. Two members preferred to maintain bank rate at 4.5. If this base rate hike is going to cause you financial difficulty, you might find some helpful information on this mod post relating to the cost of living crisis. Further information. BBC: Why does the Bank of England change interest rates? MSE: Should I overpay my mortgage? Citizens advice: Debt money. PSA: Just a reminder about Rule 8: no politics. Well, my tracker mortgages. Unfortunate. They had to be seen to do something. It's just very unfortunate that it's going to cause financial stress on working families. Marcus are now way behind on their savings rates despite the raise yesterday. For some reason, I thought we were already at the 5 mark. Come on Chase, start chasing the base rates, damn it. Enjoying the further hit to young people with mortgages or people who are looking to get on the property ladder, while the boomers and outright property owners just get increased rates on their savings, merely getting richer. Why does it seem as if everything is stacked against the young? Keep the pound steady, raise interest rates by 0.5%, and round up all the dwarves. Well damn. Glad we locked in our remortgage rate last week. Was hoping things would start going down. I start maternity leave at the end of the year. Looks like I'll only be taking 6 months off this time. And as usual, wage growth is being blamed. Paying the working class a fair wage does not cause a financial crisis. How long does it typically take for the banks to reflect this in their savings accounts, etc.? I was looking at putting a few K in an account a few days back, but obviously with today's rise, I'm waiting to get a better deal now. Its Monetary Policy Committee MPC, which has just set the interest rate, says that inflation in the services sector has remained persistently high, while wages are growing faster than it had predicted back in May. Whose wages are going up exactly? Because my firm is making cuts left, right and centre whilst my wages haven't moved. Maybe that will be the last interest rate hike, right? My 5-year fixed at 2.39 is ending in a year. Skipton SVR is at 6.5 right now, guessing my monthly payment will jump from 450 to 750. This really sucks. Not sure how I'm going to manage this and other payments due to wedding house renovations. Such bullshit that our mortgages will go up within seconds of this change, but we will have to wait months for any change to our savings accounts. We're still lower than the US even at 5. Hopefully this will pass on to savers. Shame they didn't do this 6 months ago, inflation might have been under control by now. Another nail in the coffin of bigger house plans. Fuck having a mortgage again at those rates. I'm officially out of lube. It's going to be rough for a lot of people. A 0.5 rise was needed, if not more, with inflation staying high and government unwilling to use taxation as a means to lower it. Hopefully this is the straw to break inflation, but I really doubt it. Sad trombone. I declare. Transitory. I wonder when economic groupthink will reach the conclusion that fucking over borrowers, while they are already being fucked by the cost of living, represents a societal catastrophe in the making. There are no novel or new ideas forthcoming on how to broach this. Just a race to the bottom, and who cares who gets swept up in the wave. If this is the 13th raise and no effect yet on inflation, what other options are there? I read that the only way to sort this is to cause a recession? Obviously, I don't know, but that doesn't sound good. I do believe shops need to stop having a cost of greed attitude, as people are going to stop spending and then the shops will either have to close or cut prices. Our fixed-term mortgage ends in October, and we plan to borrow some more against the house to do an extension. Hesitant to do anything now the way things are going. I hate this country more and more with each passing year. Finally got on the housing ladder last year almost to the day and fixed for 2 years on the recommendation of the mortgage broker, as having 2 years payments decreasing the LTV should help us get a good longer term fix. Really wish we'd taken the 5-year option now, but hey ho. Very expensive decision. I am so glad I listened to my friend who works in finance and fixed for 10 years at 2.0 in March of last year. Starting to think he might be a secret time traveler. So glad I've fixed my mortgage for 5 years at 4.8. I have gone for the fixed mortgage last night at 5.34 for 2 years. It's sickening, but it got to the point that I needed to know what I will be paying to budget against. I'm so angry. This is no better than renting. I will barely make any repayments in that period, but was too scared to continue on the tracker. As it's £150,000, we were really feeling each increase. I'm really conflicted about it, but I know it's a gamble whether it was worth sticking out in tracker and praying it would reduce. Can someone smarter than me explain why the tool being used to control inflation is interest rates rather than increasing VAT if they won't stop us from spending? Inflation is going to persist for long. But this seems like we're moving back to normality in terms of rates. Hope you're planning well. I'm so glad I still have 2 years on my 1.99 mortgage. I can't even fathom people having to renew and getting stupid high rates now. It was such a shock coming from France, learning that you can only lock a rate for max 5 years, when my parents had their rate locked for the whole time they reimbursed their home. Can't wait for this to trickle down. The idea that raising interest rates to bring down inflation is incorrect. We do not have a situation where too much free cash in people's pockets is causing prices to rise. Raising inflation would calm this. Our issue is external factors are raising prices. The only real way to curb inflation is to reduce cost of items. This would be bill help for energy and potentially subsidizing food costs, part of which would be helped by energy bill help. It's such a blunt and ineffective tool. Only a tiny minority of people who are mainly mortgaged with tracker standard variable or coming off their fixed rates are hammered by the rise in rates. Everyone else is not affected. If they wanted to cool the economy, the government could have just raised VAT instead to spread the pain across the board. That feeling when you agreed to a 5.172-year fix after waiting forever already and assuming due to cheaper 5-year fixes, things were looking up. Already going to be paying twice the rent I was paying. Can't wait to make that thrice completing in a week, then the clock starts ticking. Only when the tide goes out do you discover who's been swimming naked. A large part of the country has been swimming naked the past 10 years. Now we get to see who's not been wearing their trunks and bikinis. I was going to buy a house 2 years ago on a 2-year fixed mortgage. I pulled out at the survey stage, for no reason other than I had an uneasy feeling. I'm glad I trusted my gut, as life would be very difficult for me now if I had continued ahead with the purchase. FK, this economic system we live in. Still not high enough, still negative in real terms. I'm hoping forecasting that base rates will need to hit around 8-9 to make this persistent inflation drop away. Time will tell. Who needs a mortgage anyway? Renting rules. Good, send them to 6.5. Can someone give me an explain like I'm 5 as to what this actually means and what it impacts? The inflation I can handle, but these interest rate hikes are terrifying. It feels like the cure is worse than the disease. So happy I tied into a fixed 5-year last Christmas. Given that raising interest rates is unlikely to have much impact on inflation, I would expect interest rates to get much higher in the coming years. I'm due up for renewal in September. Will try and get a 5 or 10-year fixed.